Hey guys, what's up? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I completed Killian's crossbow. So if you'd like to see how I finish this monster off, then please keep on watching. I had these scrap pieces of foam from when I cut out the shape of the body, and I thought they would fit perfectly as the limbs of the crossbow, or the front parts that hold tension on the string. I wanted to add a wire to them to make them more durable and also posable, so I started by cutting a channel out of the middle of the backside of each of them, taking my box cutter at an angle around each side to cut out a triangular channel inside the foam. I then filled that channel with hot glue and then inserted a 16 gauge steel wire into the channel. I added additional hot glue over the wire in order to encase it in the foam and add a little bit more strength to the channel. Then I cut out a 2mm sheet of EVA foam in the same shape as the limbs and hot glued those in place to hide the wire that I had put into the back. I then cut out a rectangular indentation in the body of the crossbow to be able to fit the limbs into it. I wanted to do this with either Velcro or magnets, but these weren't strong enough, so I ended up just hot gluing them in place. Cut out a piece of craft foam to look like the metal bridle of the crossbow, to make it look more realistic and also to hide where I had attached the limbs. I just used a piece of Velcro to make sure that it stayed in place along the front of the body. I cut out two semicircular shapes of 10mm foam in order to create the nut or catch of the crossbow. This is the part that holds the string in place when you are getting ready to fire the crossbow. I hot glued these into place and used a pair of scissors to smooth out the seams. To create the trigger of the crossbow, I used another piece of scrap foam and traced out the general shape that I wanted. I then cut it out and hand sanded it using some 100 grit sandpaper. To attach it, I cut out a small rectangular hole in the body of the crossbow and I hot glued it into place. To make the string of the crossbow, I just used some twine I had laying around the house and I fed it through holes I poked in the ends of the limbs of the crossbow. It's kind of fiddly though, so I don't have any footage of it. Sorry about that. Before painting the crossbow, I sealed it with 3 layers of Plasti-Dip. I didn't film it though because I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. In terms of painting, I started by creating a base coat with a light brown color all over the body of the crossbow. After I got the base coat down, I went in with a dark brown paint mixed with a little bit of black, and I started adding some wood grain details. I found this to be really therapeutic and fun to do. Basically, I just painted thin little lines all over it and added some swirls and whirls in other places. I looked at a reference picture for maybe 10 seconds and then I just went in and did it on my own. I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it turned out being, and so I think even if you're not a very experienced painter, wood grain, you should give it a try. It's not that hard. I then went in with the metallic gold paint to paint all of the foam clay sculpts I did on the front and back of the body of the crossbow. And to finish it off, I painted the metal details with a metallic silver craft paint. that's everything I did to make Killian's crossbow. This is the finished product. As you can see, this thing is massive. There's definitely some things that I would do differently in the future, but this was an awesome learning experience. I didn't really find anybody else who had made a crossbow out of EVA foam in this style, so a lot of the techniques that I used to complete this were kind of just me guessing, and I think it turned out pretty good for my first large-scale prop. I'm really proud of how pretty accurate it looks to a regular medieval crossbow. Obviously there's some differences, but the overall shape and structure and parts are there. And I wanted to just do a quick little review of my experience working with the SKS Props foam and foam clay. The reason I got from SKS Props was because they were the only major foam carrier that I saw that had foam bundles. Bundles meaning different sizes of foam all in one package. I believe that they have 3 to 4 different bundles, and I got 2 different bundles. One that was like the heavy armor build bundle, which was 2 sheets of 10mm EVA foam and 1 sheet of 6, and then one that was like light armor or prop bundle, which was 2 sheets of 2mm and 1 sheet of 6mm. Now, for me it was really important to get multiple different sizes of foam, and the fact that I could get them in a bundle without having to order different rolls was really awesome. They were also on sale when I picked them up, so I ended up getting this entire box of foam and the foam clay for like $100, which to me I think is a really awesome deal. And now I have a ton of different EVA foam that I can use for a bunch of different projects. As far as the foam clay goes, I didn't really see much price difference between sellers, so I just got it from SKS Props because I figured I was already ordering from them, might as well just tack it onto the order. I did have some shipping issues receiving everything. SKS Props does send different things differently, so I got my foam bundle in one package and I got the foam clay separately. Unfortunately, they were also shipped through different carriers. The foam bundle was sent to me through UPS and I got that on time as scheduled, no problems. The foam clay was sent through USPS, and USPS sucks. Basically they said they tried to deliver. I never got a notification or a notice on my door or anything that says that they had tried to deliver. I ordered a redelivery. They said, okay, great, it'll come tomorrow. It didn't come then. Then I checked again and it said it had been returned to sender. So luckily Steve from SKS Props was super helpful. He responded right away when I emailed him and went ahead and sent me a new thing of foam clay. So I got it right away after that. In terms of the product itself, again, I've never used foam clay before this, so I can't speak to how this brand of foam clay is different from any others. I'm assuming, and I get the impression, that foam clay itself is kind of just a standard product, so no matter who you're purchasing it from, it's probably going to work much in the same way. I really enjoyed sculpting with the foam clay. I found it pretty easy to work with. I know that some people who are used to working with other types of like traditional clay have sometimes struggled with using foam clay because it works very differently. But as someone who is not a sculptor, it was a pretty easy medium for me to kind of get used to relatively quickly. The only things about it that I definitely need to keep working on with it is that it does shrink when you use it. This is not like an unknown fact, though. Steve from SKS Props has done videos talking about this, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're working with it, because I did experience shrinking on the areas that I sculpted, which caused the design to warp slightly, but in the finished product you really can't tell, so ultimately I guess it's not that big of a deal. In all, I think the products that I got were really awesome. I would definitely order from SKS Props again, and the bundles are really what sealed the deal for me. If those bundles stay a thing on SKS Props website, they're probably going to be the only seller that I purchase from, just because getting a bundle for me is the best way to purchase something like EVA foam. where I'm gonna need a lot of it and I'm not gonna want to run out of it because it's not something that's super easy to pick up again. So thank you so much for joining me for my first major prop building journey. I hope you like the finished product. I think it's pretty badass myself, and I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. So until next time, thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!